Walt Disney World's MGM Studios park opened in 1989 to some mixed reviews. A fascinating look behind the scenes of the newest movie studio in Central Florida, yet it was ultimately deemed a half-day experience by most guests. It's because of this that Disney was looking to add to its lineup of attractions, with headlining rides like Tower of Terror and Rockin roller coaster solidifying their e-ticket status in the late 90s. Disney was looking to balance out their thrills with a brand new interactive show. One that was a guaranteed hit that would surely last more than a few years, or so they hoped. Today, we discuss the history of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It. Following a 40-year partnership between the Walt Disney Company and ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, on July 31st of 1995, the two companies announced a $19 billion merger. Among countless radio and local television stations, the big entities that were acquired were the cable juggernauts ABC, ESPN, the History Channel, A&E Network, and Lifetime Television. It's at this time that ABC would begin ramping up their promotion of the Disney parks, with holiday specials, live concert series, and so many iconic ABC sitcom families making their way down to Orlando. Of course, this promotion went both ways, as Disney would begin promoting the ABC programming at their parks on billboards and in practical product placement. Yay, synergy! In search of more ways to help cross-promote the brands, in 2001, Disney looked to introduce a theme park version of what at the time was America's #1 hot new game show.
From the four corners of the continent, we have flown them to New York City. People just like you, who called our phone number dreaming of instant riches. Will one of them seize this day, have the knowledge and the courage to change the course of their lives in one short evening? Starting tonight and every night for the next 2 weeks, join us from New York City as we play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was a popular game show that debuted on ABC in August of 1999 and saw almost instant success. Originally hosted by TV personality Regis Philbin, the show featured a quiz competition with contestants attempting to win a top prize of $1 million. Contestants must answer a series of multiple choice questions of increasing difficulty and increasing prize money. With each question, guests have an option to go home with their earnings from the previous round or risk it all with the goal to reach that $1 million grand prize. The show itself was one of the first at the time to bring drama to the game show format. While other popular game shows of the past like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy maintained the traditional game show feel, a studio audience that was facing a stage where contestants would look at a massive television board to solve a problem while the host would robotically ask questions or be there to simply repeat what the contestant just said. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire took the game show format and turned it on its head. The host and contestants would sit at chairs across from one another, while the audience sat in a theater in the round type setup. Both the contestant and host would have angled screens in front of them where each round of questions would be displayed, while the viewers at home would see the same thing that they saw on their monitor just at the bottom of their television screen. Dramatic spotlights would highlight the two, as each increasingly difficult question would be accompanied by increasingly dramatic lighting and sound cues. Oh, and that theme song still gets me hyped to this day. To add to the drama, the show provided some relief or assistance to contestants as they were given 3 lifelines in case they were stumped by a question. The first, 50-50, saw 2 incorrect answers eliminated, leaving the contestant with a choice between the correct answer and 1 remaining wrong answer. Next, Ask the Audience. Audience members would use 4-button keypads attached to their seat to vote for the answer they believed to be correct. The result of that poll would then be presented to the contestant to hopefully help aid them in answering their question. And lastly, Phone a Friend, where the contestant could call any person of their choosing and was given 30 seconds to discuss the question with that person. These lifelines not only helped the contestants reach their ultimate goal of $1 million, but also added variety to the otherwise formulaic question-answer format. This paired with a host with a background in talk shows that would help sort of guide contestants on certain decisions while at the same time acknowledging the pressure of the situation and obviously keeping things on track.
Final answer.
It's Nirvana for $32,000.
During its first year on the air, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was the #1 ranked show on cable television, with an average of 53.2 million viewers across 3 nights a week, which was its standard schedule. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire beat out every popular sitcom, talk show, and sports show at the time. To give you a better picture, Friends, which was airing its 6th season and was probably at its peak popularity, ran the same night as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and boasted a 14.0 rating, while just 1 hour later, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire would hit 17.5 million viewers on an average Thursday night. To say this game show was a hit would be a massive understatement. Following the success was a full rollout of products, ad campaigns, sweepstakes, you name it.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Ray does!
Showtime!
Now you can play the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game at McDonald's. Answer correctly and you could win cash on every card, up to $1 million.
Who wants to be a millionaire at McDonald's?
Ray does!
Yeah!
Due to McDonald's working relationship with the Walt Disney Company with promotional tie-ins for nearly every movie release in the late 90s and early 2000s, McDonald's just had to get their fair share of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire fever. But in case pulling stickers off of a box of fries wasn't enough, fans would soon be able to get their hands on a handheld version of the game show.
I do.
Is that your final answer?
It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the handheld game, with the voice of Regis Philbin.
And your answer is?
It's a boy.
Is that your final answer?
With hundreds of questions and 3 lifelines. Hold the audience, 50-50, or phone a friend.
Is that your final answer?
It's $1 million worth of fun for everyone. Electronic Who Wants to Be a Millionaire handheld game. And the new Who Wants to Be a Millionaire tabletop game, coming soon.
There was also multiple CD-ROM versions of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, one of which I actually played a few times as a child, but sadly never won. Seeing that this phenomenon wasn't slowing down anytime soon, ABC and Disney were looking for ways to implement the show into the parks. At the same time, in 1999, the Walt Disney Company was in the process of planning out a new park in Disney's California Adventure, as well as a much-needed refresh to their MGM Studios park in Florida. But where would this fit in at MGM Studios? Well, to answer that, I took a trip to the modern-day Hollywood studios to find out. Early MGM Studios is by far my favorite era of any theme park. Although it had its issues, its lineup of rides paired with its faux studio atmosphere, nothing beats it for me. Right now I'm making my way towards what used to be the old backlot / soundstage area of the park. The tram tour ended with a walkthrough of multiple sound stages showcasing the different aspects of film and television production. Behind me sits Toy Story Midway Mania, which opened in May of 2008, but before that was home to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It. Previously, this soundstage was host to multiple television tapings and special events. Everything from Ernest Saves Christmas to Thunder in Paradise, WCW Saturday Night, and the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, a television show that would air from 1989 to 1994 and produce future stars like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Ryan Gosling, all of which got their start in these sound stages at MGM Studios. At the time, this was one of the few locations at MGM Studios that was consistently acting as a full-time studio space. But as the new millennium rolled around and the novelty of an active production studio wore off, what was pitched but inevitably didn't end up happening was a permanent filming location for the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game show, as it was headed towards syndication. A near-perfect replica of the set from the ABC studios in New York was constructed in the sound stages at MGM Studios. And just in time for the tail end of spring break of 2001, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It was born.
Then, put on your thinking cap and warm up your fastest fingers as you play along at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It. In this attraction, every answer counts, and you could end up in the hot seat.
Final answer.
At the same time on the West Coast, construction had been underway of the soundstage that would host the attraction at Disney's California Adventure, a park that at the time had a pretty rough start and was looking for anything to help dig up some type of guest intrigue at a park that was considered a whole lot of filler. But because there wasn't any open space that was readily available, a new soundstage was constructed in the Hollywood Pictures backlot area of the park, right next to a little ride called Superstar Limo. This version of the attraction would once again be a replica of the set from the television show and follow the same format as the show as well. Well, mostly the same format, as it was missing one crucial aspect.
See, here's the problem with the game show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire existing at a theme park. Most park goers want to be a millionaire. And if they're aware of what the show is, they're gonna be expecting a shot.
Obviously, a theme park cannot be expected to shell out an exorbitant amount of money like that daily, especially if that park is owned by a company who was going through one of their worst periods financially at the time. And yes, I do believe guests would be a little silly to believe that they could win $1 million during a trivia game on vacation. But Disney's solution might not have been the best idea. Before we get to that, we must determine how you would even become eligible to step into that hot seat. Theme park guests who were looking to try their shot at the show would need to attend one of these shows as an audience member. Once seated with the show about to start, a fastest finger question would be asked and each audience member had a chance to answer on a keypad attached to their seat. The audience member who answered that question both correctly and the fastest would get a shot in the hot seat. There was also no age requirement for this show, although the fastest finger question did narrow down the selection to mostly adults because the question needed to be answered correctly, not just the fastest. But don't worry, if you didn't make it to the hot seat, you could still use the keypad attached to your seat to answer these same questions the contestant was being asked for the chance at some prizes.
So let's get to that. Money was not involved, but the scoring system was roughly the same.
If the correct answer to a question in the real-life show would get you $100, during the Disney Parks version, you would receive 100 points, so on and so forth. So what, do these points convert to Disney gift cards? Unfortunately, no. They converted to pins with correlating point value printed on them. So if you got 100 points, you got a pin that looked like this. Yeah. Kinda lame. Fun fact, one of the most common places you could still find some of these point-related pins is during pin trading around the parks.
One other reason why I'm here at Hollywood Studios today is because I'm doing a little bit of pin trading, trying to see if I could find one of these Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It pins. And of course I had to bring a pin expert because I am not one. That's why Mackenzie is here. Say hello.
Hello, how are you?
How often have you seen one of these pins before?
I would say I see them pretty frequently. That's why I definitely brought you here, especially on. Oh, should I say the days that I come here?
No, you should not. No. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a pin that looks like this? This is from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It. This is the attraction that used to be here in the same building as Toy Story Midway Mania. That's the only reason I bring it up.
I can't say I've ever seen one.
One thing I wish I knew before today is how meticulous the pin trading process, especially if you're looking for one particular pin. We literally scoured this entire park to try to find this one stupid little pin from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It. I think we checked a total of maybe close to 10 different pin boards, multiple different cast members asking everywhere, and it took us till the very, very last stop over in the Tatooine Traders by Star Tours until we actually found somebody who's seen the pin, period. We asked multiple different cast members. None of them knew what I was talking about whatsoever, but one cast member, Becca from Pennsylvania, had actually seen the pin earlier in that day on either another cast member's lanyard or a pin board they had somewhere backstage, and guess what? We got it. We traded for it. We got the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It 100 pin, and I can't believe, I cannot believe that we found this. After an hour of deliberation, we finally found the pin.
I wasn't even nervous, not even 1 second. I knew this pin had to be somewhere. I knew I wasn't crazy. They had me in the first half, but Becca pulled it through, and I am not crazy.
All right, well, as they would say on TV, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
During the duration of your game, hitting milestones would get you bonus prizes as well. Like at 1,000 points, you would get this baseball cap. At 32,000 points, you would receive this stunning embroidered shirt. Come on, who needs $32,000 when you could have this shirt? Earlier in the run of the attraction, contestants would also receive a copy of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire CD-ROM game upon correctly answering the 32,000 point question. But the big question is, what is the grand prize? For those skilled enough to correctly answer all 15 questions, including the 1 million point question, you would receive, drumroll please, a 1 million point leather jacket. Oh, also a Disney Cruise Line trip for 4. This was honestly the best part of the show. Everything else, straight in the trash. Well, I take that back. If anybody's got a 1,000 point hat that they're willing to part with, I will gladly take it off your hands. I do wonder how many people actually got the Disney Cruise Line prize, and if it was for like a week of their choosing, or were they just thrown on a cruise at the most inconvenient time possible? I don't know.
I'm actually here in Florida on the set of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It at the Disney MGM Studios. This set is so phenomenal. Every day, thousands of people come to see the thrill of the game, to experience it on a set that looks exactly like the one I play on in New York. It is amazing. I cannot tell the difference. And the game is very similar. There are a few exceptions. They don't phone a friend, they phone a complete stranger here. And you don't win any money here, but you win the coolest prizes, like a trip on a Disney Cruise Line. Pretty nice, huh? But listen, guys, join me out in the park. Let's see what's going on. Come on, Regis, Kelly.
The grand prize was changed at some point to tickets for 2 to a live taping of the show in New York, although it was not disclosed if the airfare and lodging was included with this prize. Both of these grand prizes were heavily advertised along with the in-park game show itself. Other notable aspects of the show was the production team. Much like you'll still see at Indiana Jones' Epic Stunt Spectacular today, there is some fake film/TV production going on that they want us to believe is real. To the point where at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It, they had an actor portraying a director who would lie to guests' faces and say that Regis was talking directly to the audience via live camera feed.
Now, great, let's get ready for Regis, everybody. In 5, 4, 3, and go.
Oh boy. Oh, this guy's a great writer. Ooh, I love him. Hey, I'll be out there to join you in just a few minutes, and this is going to be great. I ask you 15 questions, you get them all right, you win $1 million, just like that.
Whoa, $1 million points, not dollars.
Points?
That's right, you get points for each question that you answer correctly. The more points you have, the more pins and prizes you win.
Oh, you mean like these plastic flowers? How nice. You spared no expense again, Mary.
Because of prior commitments, Regis was not your host. After all, this experience did run daily in both California and Florida, making it impossible for him to be at both. Instead, Disney trained the cast members hosting the show to just act like Regis. Another aspect of the show itself that saw a drastic change was the phone a friend lifeline. In the case of the real TV game show, contestants would have a friend or family member on standby to receive a call.
Hello?
Hello, Tom.
Yes.
Hi, Regis Philbin here from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And if there was an answering machine, they could just call again or have a backup, and it would simply be edited out with the magic of pre-taped television. But during the 25-minute theme park version of the show, they needed a new plan. So Disney installed a phone just outside of the soundstage that contestants could call for the now named Phone a Complete Stranger lifeline.
And I'm sure that worked wonderfully, with no issues whatsoever.
It was located near the entrance of the attraction, and who knows, it was probably a cast member located near the Fast Pass return who just picked up the phone anyway. Disney's verbiage surrounding this feature was always talked about like it was somewhere throughout the park, leading people to believe that a payphone could just ring near Interventions at Epcot and some random stranger would pick it up. Well, actually, that's exactly what happened during the 2001 Summer Jam Concert Series TV special. What is probably my new favorite piece of Disney Parks media, this TV special is wild. To promote the recently opened Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It at MGM Studios, actor and singer of the famous rock band Sugar Ray, Mark McGrath would guest host the theme park game show in this crazy segment.
Now you know, I've been in the hot seat with Regis, but now it's my turn to ask the questions. For a cool 1 million points, who's jamming next on Summer Jam? Is it BB Mac, Sugar Ray, I like those guys, Baha Men, or Dream?
I think I want to use a lifeline, man. I need to call a friend, dude.
We phone a complete stranger here at the Disney MGM Studios. Let's give it a try.
Hello, Bahaman here.
Hello, this is Mark McGrath, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play it. I have the guys from Sugar Ray here in the hot seat, and they need your help, sir.
We're about to go on stage, man. I can't talk right now. Call back later. Okay, see you. Bye.
Didn't work out, the phone a friend. What are you gonna do, Craig?
I think I'm gonna say C, Bahaman. That's my final answer.
That's your final answer. Always wanted to say that. Yes, see the Bahaman it is.
After construction was completed for the new soundstage at California Adventure, the attraction was set to open the second week of September 2001. I don't think I have to tell you what happens next. But at that exact moment, there was a sudden massive dip in tourism worldwide, which was the last thing that Disney parks needed after the mess that was the opening of California Adventure. While Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It saw mostly full crowds out in California, it was sadly decided that it was not worth the money to keep it open after just 3 short years. After its closure, the soundstage was later used for a character show called Dancin' with Disney, where guests could cool down from the hot California sun, enjoy some AC, and dance with some of their favorite Disney characters. Since then, the soundstage has mostly sat empty, aside from a few special events as well as this pop-up store. During the worldwide shutdown in 2020, both Disney World and Disneyland shut down. While Disney World started easing their parks back open a few months after the shutdown, Disneyland really decided to take their time. During the phased opening of Disneyland, California Adventure was oddly used as a shopping center, sort of. Basically only using the park for guests to walk around and do some shopping in their gift shops. It's during this time that World of Disney over at Downtown Disney had a second location. That location was none other than the former Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It soundstage, granting guests a close-up look on this Disney relic. Once leaving this pop-up gift shop, you'd be able to see this massive Play It illuminated and hanging just by the exit. I know this is like barely anything, but I absolutely love that they did this little hint just one time, just once. As I had mentioned before, the game show in Orlando would be replaced by Toy Story Mania. On August 19th of 2006, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It saw its final show. During the opening moments of the final show, the producer invited all former hosts who were in attendance down to the hot seat to say their goodbyes, and they were met with thunderous applause. Unfortunately, there are not many permanent nods to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It at MGM Studios. But if Hulu's release schedule lines up right, you might just find a billboard for the most recent reboot of the show starring Jimmy Kimmel. Although this hot seat was retired for good, this would not be the end of game show-based attractions at MGM Studios. Just 3 years later, another groundbreaking reality-based game show made its way to the park. The American Idol experience debuted in February of 2009, where theme park guests could sing their heart out for a chance at fame and fortune. After 5 short years, the American Idol experience sang its swan song to make way for a stage show based on an extremely popular modern classic film. What would turn out to be the frozen nail in the coffin for game shows at Disney parks, the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration had done it. Will we ever see a game show-based attraction return to the Disney parks? Well, I think the better question is, what game show is even worthy of a theme park attraction? Just so I know you made it all the way to the end of this video, please let me know in the comments down below what popular game show you'd like to see implemented within the Disney parks. It could literally be anything, but just so I know you made it this far, let me know below. Thank you so much to all of my wonderful Patreon pity viewers. If you're looking for more ways to support the channel, definitely check out that link below, which is also where you could find my brand new exclusive vlog from San Diego Comic-Con, which is only on Patreon, as well as the entire backlog of all of these fun videos. Or if you are looking for more theme park based history videos that are absolutely free, how about that one right there? Or this one. This one's definitely one of my favorites. I am Ryan. This has been For the Love of Theme Parks, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye.